Have you ever wondered what people from heaven smell like? Picture this. Someone's at heaven's door, about to leave for good when they bump into a loved one. But hold on, their spouse is there too, even though he's still alive. Join us to uncover not just heavenly scents, but also the shocking truth about death. If you like near-death experiences, consider subscribing. Also like the video so you can receive more interesting and eye-opening stories. Alright, let's get to the story. My name is Lori Babel. My near-death experience is due to heart attack. Currently, I am 42 years of age. Since I was 16, I have had SVTs, supraventricular tachycardia. I have had probably 100 episodes, which make me go to the hospital to be converted. The doctors rarely convert me with defibrillation. However, I have been previously defibrillated 3 times with no adverse effects, nothing like this. I have had 3 ablation procedures to solve my arrhythmia problem, but nothing seems to work. Since I have been 16, I was put on a variety of beta blockers to control the episodes. Most times I know in advance that I'm about to have an SVT, and every episode I have been conscious, talking, joking, very lighthearted. Never had they been associated with pain, fear, or a knowing that I'm going to die. From the moment this attack started, it was different, and I was unusually fearful almost immediately. In the early morning of Sunday, September 19th, 2010 at 12:40 a.m., my husband, Larry, and I were lying in bed and had just turned the lights out to go to sleep. I was lying on my back and had just put my head on my pillow when I felt suffocated. I gasped for air and found myself in an SVT without warning. Larry rushed me to the hospital, like he has done countless other times before, thinking it was just another episode. I knew from the way it started, the pain in my arm, dry mouth, burning chest, and pain in my neck. This one was very different, and I was a little fearful. With previous episodes when we are on our way to the hospital, I am talkative, bossy with his driving, just downright in control. However, this was the only time I couldn't seem to speak. I felt withdrawn, not in control, fearful, and in amazement all at the same time. Once we got to the hospital, I felt like I was going to pass out. I requested oxygen and tried to warn the nurses to get something happening. This is not going to go well for me. Because I have had so many of these episodes, many of the nurses knew of me, worked on me before, and I recognized them. At first, they took the situation like it was just another episode, but I kept telling them, this is going to go real bad real fast, do something. Once I started to throw up, I felt like I was losing control of my bowels. My blood pressure dropped to 56/27. I heard them calling a pre-code. Once I heard this, I knew it was me they were talking about. I felt much better, not scared anymore, because they got the message that I wasn't going to make it. Things started happening real fast at this point. I told Larry that, I think I'm going to die. It's going to be okay. I just wanted him to be prepared and not shocked. At this point, I'm still Lori and still in my body with my brain working and humanly knowing. I was not scared anymore. I felt resigned. I gave complete control to the nurses and doctors who so many times before have converted me with no trouble. Although I was fully surrendered to the doctors, I had complete blind faith that I was about to die and was totally okay with it. I, Lori, don't remember much at this point. I have so much trouble explaining in words what happened because the experience is not of words but rather a knowing. It's like trying to make an apple an orange. The last thing I remember is throwing up and begging the doctors to let me poop, and they kept telling me to do it in my pants. I don't remember who was in the trauma room. I didn't see my husband anymore. Just some Asian doctor saying, "You're in good hands." My last conscious brain thought was, yes, I am going to good hands. And that is the last thing my body remembers. My dad, he passed away April 2008, and I were standing by an orange cap in the trauma room. But it's not like our brains think. I did not see his face, but it was more like a knowing. I didn't have the identity, Lori, but I was the essence of who I am. We stood. Stood is a wrong word, makes you think like we had feet, or we were a solid matter, but we didn't hover either. My dad and I just were, beside some orange cap which felt like it was up high and we could see, again not with our eyes, just know, that there were a lot of people in the trauma room and you could feel the tension, pressure, excitement, fear, animosity, frustration amongst all those people. It was not pleasant to feel, so my dad and I left the trauma room. Before we left, I could sense that a man in scrubs was having like a temper tantrum. The best I could describe it. Once again, here makes you think you are using your ears and you are not. The nurses around him gave off the energy that he was a whiner/complainer and they totally dismissed him. My dad and I were somewhere dark. Felt like downstairs in my house without the lights on. I could smell my dad's body odor. It was wonderful. Peaceful, knowing, communicative. You didn't need a mouth. Loving, gentle, fun, happy, and soft. These words are so lame compared to what it was. It was right. It was perfect. It was the way it should be. It just was. His essence is proud of me. His essence is happy that I am with Larry. And that I have to go now. I can't stay in essence. It feels when you are in essence there is nothing physical about it. So when I felt he was sending me back, I refused to go. I wanted to stay so badly. I didn't care I had a husband who was probably sick with worry, or my son who just moved away from home, how this would make him feel. I just wanted to stay. I just knew that being in essence there is nothing physical, so he couldn't make me. But he bumped me hard, and I went through a white tunnel very fast. The next thing I saw was my dad's face on top of Larry's. It was like a camera not knowing what to focus on, Larry's face or my dad's face. My dad's face started to fade. Larry's face became more pronounced. I thought I was still with my dad, only Larry is here with us also. I was so happy until I said to Larry, "See, Dad? Where did Dad go?" Larry didn't say anything, so I said, "I saw Dad," to which Larry responded with tears in his eyes, "How is he?" I got very upset because if Larry was with me, he should know how he is. If Larry wasn't with us, where is Dad? I didn't know where I was. Which level am I on? How long was I there? Why is Larry so upset? There must be something wrong, and I wanted so badly to go back to where I was. I was so disappointed to see my body, but I could still feel essence like someone talking very loudly. My human eyes could see brighter, and my sense of smell is better than a dog. I thought if I found that orange cap, I could find Dad. The orange cap turned out to be the bottom lid of a disposable container hanging on the wall, but it wasn't as high up as I knew. It was definitely the cap, but the view I saw was not relative to where it was hanging on the wall. I ponder this often, and still can see the orange cap in the view. Larry watched the whole thing from a different view. I went unconscious. My blood pressure dipped dangerously low. The doctors electronically defibrillated me. I quit breathing. They tried to revive me, and after a minute, I slowly began to stabilize. After I stabilized a bit more, I began to tell the nurses where I went. It was as if we were comparing notes to an accident that we had witnessed. One nurse was reading a book on near-death experiences. I thought that was stupid because there is no such thing as death. It is only transition. Your body may die, but your essence sure doesn't. It has been a week since my experience, and I am still recovering at home. Where the doctors did the sternum rub my chest was very sore. I had burn marks where the electronic shock happened. Feels like they broke my nose, and the base of my spine is very painful from pushing the mask so hard on my face to help me breathe. Since this experience, I cannot stomach the smell or look of red meat. It makes me nauseated. I sense everything like the volume is cranked right up. I feel very much alone and in my own little world. I smell things that aren't even there. Yesterday was the first time I left my house without Larry. When I meet strangers when I went to the store, it's as if I can feel their essences, but when I do, it leaves me so exhausted that I can only be out for short periods of time. This has been very difficult for Larry. It has left him insecure about death, and me wanting to go back. I believe in the death of a body, but the word death is used improperly. It should be called transition. If the public had the concept of transition like they do death, we all would be much better off. When people talk about crossing over, I can get it now. I think there are different levels of transition, to which I don't know where I was. I just know I wish I could go back there. That does it for today's video. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment below.